Hello, I'm Andrew Smith from the Open University Cisco Academy, and due to the informal nature of these videos, I am still on the road, and some of the background noise that you can hear is a cafe in the northeast of England at the moment. This is the third video, and I'm basically exploring with you InterVLAN routing. Video 1, I built the on-a-stick network to the left-hand side. Video 2, I built the multi-layer switching network on the right-hand side. Now we are in the middle, and we're going to build the interwebs. Okay. Now, just for speed, I've already done some basic configuration where I have configured the router interfaces between each connection. So GI001 between on a stick and interwebs has been set up, and it's 33.0.0.2 on the outside and 33.0.0.1 on the inside for each of these connections. And you can see here I've got 66.0.0.1.0.0.0, and if you actually just look down, and you can just about pick it out on the gigabit interface, which I turned into a non-switch port interface. Now I've got 66002. So there's a reminder, GI01 is not a switch port. I turned that off so that it is able to route, and it sets up IP routing and everything else. But nothing else is happening. You can't connect out the two VLANs on each of these PCs. They're able to talk to each other, but they're not able to talk across the system, so to prove that as well. If I actually just go now into the desktop, command prompt, and ping, so I'm going to ping 172.16.0.1, that can ping across quite comfortably, so that's the default gateway, .10, that'll work as well, but we've also got ARP to take place, so give it a moment. And then if I actually just go to 31.10, I'm just going to edit that out, it should come back with destination unreachable, because it doesn't know where to route it. It doesn't know it at the moment. So we've got InterVLAN routing taking place on the local segment, it's all directly connected, but as we've got no routing protocol, we've got to set up a routing protocol. So we're going to go for something very simple, very obvious, and it's covered in the Cisco curriculum, and we're going to go show IP int brief just so we can see what we've got set up, and then I'm going to do a configure terminal and run OSPF. And why am I using OSPF? And I'm actually going to show you multi-area OSPF because it links to the curriculum. So I'm going to do network 33.0.0.0.0.0.255, and you'll learn that this is to actually say, yeah, I'm going to allow anything. You'll also learn that that's one of the less secure ways of doing things. But here we are. It's going to be good enough for this activity. And I'm just going to change it to 66. But I've just started routing at the core. Okay, so do WR. Oh, I didn't want to do that. That was a definite typo. So I'll just hit in there. I'll just do WR again, and I managed to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to my on a stick, the router to the left, enter a few times, enable, T, router, OS, yeah, 1. The process is locally significant, network 33.0.0.0.0.255, and I am going to put it in the correct area, which is area 0. Then I'm going to put in network 10.0.0.0. 0.0.0.255, and I'm going to put that also in area 0. And I am going to let the adjacency has now come up because it's actually connected to the interwebs. And I'm going to do 172.16. Okay, and put that in area 0 as well. So it's already propagated, and do WR And then if I do a do show IP route, you can see now it's beginning to learn. It's learned about 66 via OSPF. It's making its connections across the system. Now I've configured it here, so I've configured it in the center, and if I actually go and do a do show IP route here, I can now see across, and it's learned 10 already, and it's learned 172.16 already. Now if I go to the multi-layer switch, which I've turned on IP route, I've done it again, I've hit the key, so I should have turned on no IP domain lookup, but here I am. So now I am going to configure terminal router OSPF 1 root, so network 6000000025 area 0, and then I'm going to do network this time 192.168.0.0. Oh, look at my typing, and then oops, it didn't like that, and it's already made an adjacency area 0, and then network, and I'm going to go across and edit 172.31. Okay, so yeah, we've got no logging synchronous, and I should have done no IP domain lookup, but it's all come up and we've done that. So now I'm going to do WR and then N, and then if I do a show IP route, now you can see it's learned those distance networks and it's learned the adjacent networks. The routing table looks a little bit different. It's telling me what it can see via the VLANs because it's a switch, a multi-layer switch, which is different than the slight output as we can see here on a router, because it also talks about linked and connected interfaces. But now if I go to my PC here, and because I've set up routing, it can actually, we should be able to ping from network to network. Wait for it. There you go. And it's working quite happily. Now, it doesn't matter because the VLANs are locally significant, but basically we've got InterVLAN routing now taking place at both sides. On the left-hand side, as we look at this diagram, we've got a routing on skip with .1Q trunking taking place, and we've got sub-interfaces. On the right-hand side, we're using the functionality of a multi-layer switch, which will do it for us. On the left-hand side, we have to set up VLAN tagging. On the right-hand side, we actually put the IP address in the VLAN for the default gateway. And it all works quite comfortably. I am going to share this file so that you can download this if you're a TM257 student. It's not difficult, there's a bit of work, and what I've shown you tips a little bit into the enterprise networking skill set as well, which you'll be learning later on. But now we've got two InterVLAN routed networks, both operating using multi-layer switch or router on stick, and all talking to each other successfully. So thank you very much. I'm AndrewSmith from the Open University Cisco AC, and hopefully this noisy cafe that I'm recording this in hasn't been too disruptive for you.